Hello, Recording video. Today we're gonna take a look at the best team for the Open Master League based on PvPoke. They updated the rating now with the release of Necrozma, and so we're going to have a team here that is going to be without Necrozma actually, which is quite surprising. Necrozma would be like both forms kind of top tier meta Pokemon. You would expect it to be in like the top team, but without Zygarde, it is without the Necrozma forms, which is something that I did not really expect, but we're going to have here the Dialga in the origin form. We're going to have also the Ho-Oh as a normal one, not Shadow. And honestly, I actually built just for this video the Ho-Oh there for 250k because I actually already had that one built to level 40 back in the day before XL was around. And I kind of really want to have a normal Ho-Oh. Like in so many teams, I really would have liked to have a normal Ho-Oh, and I always had to use my Shadow one. Shadow one is way worse than the normal variant. Don't build a Shadow variant like me playing the Shadow variant the entire time. It is horrific. You really want to have the normal variant. Like, it's so much better, I'm just saying. But yeah, we're going to have this one. We're going to have the Giratina. Giratina is a Pokemon that I was expecting to rise in popularity after the release of Necrozma, because you're going to have the stab super effective Shadow Claw against them. But also, you're going to be able to beat the Ho-Oh quite easily, which is kind of cool for you as well, which is also a Pokemon that kind of got a little bit more popular since the release of Necrozma, just because it beats the one Necrozma form quite hard and the other one's quite neutral against. So it is quite decent. Anyway, we're going to have an interesting team here. Let's see what we can do with it. We're going to have here the first battle where we're going to be able to win with our Dialga with Summer Dragon Breath down. Next opponent, we're going to have a Landorus in lead. That's not really ideal for us. We can stay in for a little bit. We kind of want to swap out eventually into our Giratina. That's like one of the issues for the team. But like that's the issue kind of for the core of Ho-Oh plus Dialga. And that's actually one of the matchups where the Shadow Ho-Oh might be even a little bit better compared to the normal variant, because it just do more incinerate damage, allowing you to have a little bit of an easier matchup in the two-shield scenario. Here's one thing. My gut was telling me basically that I should have went for Dragon Pulse and Shadow Ball on Giratina. But because I make a video based on a team that is like this on PvPoke, I kind of wanted to keep it as true as possible to what I kind of got with this this team here, with also the movesets already involved into it. And honestly, I feel like Dragon Pulse would make a lot of sense on Giratina if you use it in a position like this as a save swap, especially if you have another Dragon type in the lead, because what are you gonna get out of there? Like, you're gonna get out Fairy type Pokemon, you have Shadow Ball, or you're gonna get out other Dragon type Pokemon which are gonna try to take advantage of you with like Dragon Tail or Dragon Breath, and then you're going to still have access to the Dragon Pulse then, and Dragon Pulse can catch off guard, for example, something like a Palkia. So this might be something for like a future video, like somewhere down the line, maybe this season, where I'm going to take a look at Dragon Pulse variant of Giratina, because if you think about it, the amount of Palkia that currently running around is quite insane. I think if you get like Shadow Claw damage onto them and the Dragon Claw, the Shadow Claw plus the Dragon Pulse damage onto them, I think that's going to be enough to knock one out. I'm going to check real quick on the side as well, because that would be kind of a cool tech move against those, against those Palkias. Next opponent, we're going to have here a lead of Togekiss. Not ideal for us whatsoever, but you're going to be able to stay in here and go for an Iron Head. I was just hoping here at this point that they're just going to try to go ahead and go for a bait move against me. Of course, I just have to hope for that. I cannot really think that. Like, very likely they'll just decide to go for an Aura Sphere or a Flamethrower. Let's see what they're going to have here. They're going to have a Flamethrower. Not too sure which is going to be better in the current meta. I guess it's actually Flamethrower because of Necrozma now as well, but they're going to have a Dialga in the back, and that's totally fine. Like, this is a matchup that is so much worse for the Shadow variant of Ho-Oh, I feel like, and so much better for the normal variant of Ho-Oh. Here, actually, they're still gonna get a move because of that, but basically, you would have had so much more damage from Dragon Breath onto you, so I really enjoy the normal variant now. I will try to play some more Ho-Oh in the future as well now, because I really needed to build this Pokemon. Like, honestly, normal Ho-Oh is such a good Pokemon in the current meta. I'm wondering if this is going to get also nerfed in the new season. Like, I would imagine they're going to be quite a lot of nerfs in the new season, because basically we're in a point, especially for the Great League, where certain Pokemon are just so good in the role that they're trying to play that even if you're going to put in like new Pokemon, they have to be even more broken, and like I doubt that they're going to do this. So I would imagine that you're going to see some nerf to Pokemon like Liga, maybe Counter, maybe Shadow Claw, maybe Body Slam, like those super overpowered moves that are basically everywhere, and you basically have to have those moves on this Pokemon in order to make them really good. But yeah, we have to see how this is gonna happen here. Here we're gonna see the opponent gonna go for the Ominous Wind, which I also wrote, I think, wrong on the right side. I'm not too sure. Actually, I think I wrote it right. I cannot see it. You can see it, but let's move on to the next opponent. Let's see what they're going to have here. They're going to have the Zygarde. And this is like the one issue that I have for this team. The two Pokemon that are kinda really tricky for this team are both Palkia as well as the Zygarde. Yes, you have a decent answer in the lead for them, but you don't really have a decent answer for your backline. Like with the backline there, like it's going to be a little bit of a trickier one. Here you decide to use a shield against the crunch. You're going to try to go up for a little bit more energy. We have some lag there, which maybe actually impacted us. If we lost like one turn there, this might actually impact it quite a bit. As I decided to go for the Earthquake, we're forced to go into our hole now and try to get as much energy as possible. By the way, Dragon Pulse only does 66% damage against a Palkia Origin form, which is quite mad how bad that is. Not gonna lie, like Dragon Pulse is not a great move at all. But yeah, we're gonna see here the Necrozma coming in from the opponent. We can just go for a Shadow Ball, get a ton of damage onto them. That is looking quite nice for us, as this is going to be able to put them into a range where we're barely not going to be able to farm them down. And I'd rather keep my Giratina around, and so I decided to use a shield here. I think this was the right decision as well. We're going to have here the Palkia in the back though, and this is going to be game. I don't think there's a way of us winning this game anymore. We are going to see here that they let the move go through. Like, imagine I went for the Dragon Pulse here. I think this would have been enough to knock them out. Fairly certain it would have, but we can still try our best. We kind of really have to hope for a debuff now at this point with a Sacred Fire, which actually is going to work out quite well, and we get a free fast move in. And with this, we're going to be able to even reach the Brave Bird still, knock out that Palkia, and win this battle. What a way, honestly, like that was quite an interesting one. As you're gonna see in the next battle, we're going to have a Zacian against us. They swap out into a Palkia, and like imagine that Dragon Pulse here. Like this would have been so cool. I tried to bait it here a little bit with my Giratina. The opponent would have been kind of in a range where I definitely would have been able to. Honestly, I'm like so confused right now based on the damage that we did with Shadow Claw as well as Shadow Ball, that a Dragon Pulse is not going to knock them out from that range. That's kind of mad. Like honestly, like it barely does any more damage than the Shadow Ball, which is quite ridiculous. Like that is like it should do way more, but I don't know. It would be something for definitely a future video to try out the Dragon Pulse on the Giratina. I feel like this is a cool tech move in the current meta. Anyway, a cool tech move is also close combat in the current meta, because right now Play Rough plus Wild Charge is everywhere. Like it's a very, very common move combination. Here we will see that the Iron Head is not going to get the shield from the opponent, which I'm actually quite happy about, because like this, we can fully farm them down. And now, it depends. Do they have Wild Charge, or do they have the other move? It's called the Play Rough there. We don't know yet. But here we're gonna see that I decided to, no shield, Essentia Storm. Now we can go for the full farm down, and we will see that we can go ahead and go for that Sacred Fire. This is going to be able to get the shield. We're going to get the drop of the attack here as well, which is going to be quite lovely. As we try to reach another one in time, let's see if that's going to get also a drop onto them. Would be really good for us, and it is gonna get the drop, and so we can swap onto the LilyKatchum move here, and I think we're in a decent spot, because I think we need 2 more fast moves to get the win here. And even if they had Wild Charge, which apparently they don't have, they have Play Rough Close Combat, you would have been able to survive 2 Wild Charges here with 1 shield plus the health that I have left after the 2 debuffs, and so this is going to be a good game, easy victory for us, and we can move on to the next opponent. Dialga against Palkia, that is a classic matchup and a great matchup for us as well. We're going to be staying in here, of course, because we kind of need to get them a little bit low. Very likely they're going to swap out eventually here. We're going to have them below half health, and we're going to see the Necrozma swapping in. It is better most likely for us to go into the Ho-Oh compared to our own Giratina, because Ho-Oh is going to be able to take those Dark Pulses a little bit better than the Giratina would, as it's super effective against it. So here, Sacred Fire is coming through. Maybe could have overfarmed by 1 more, but I was a little bit too worried that they can still get to another charge move, because I was a little bit slow at swapping out. Here, they're going to be able to still get to another charge move, but the Awkward Tail is going to knock us out for sure, as we can swap back in straight away into our Dialga. We're going to use a shield here on a potential spatial rant, which is going to be the case here as well. They swap out into the Landorus. We can overfarm by quite a bit, go for an Iron Head, and then swap out into our Giratina. We already got them a little bit lower here, and that's kind of nice. We can swap out the catch and move. It is still a little bit of a trickier one, because before we can go for 1 Shadow Ball, we have to even take another Essentia Storm, which is going to drop our attack even further, and that might be not the way here. The opponent goes to the Sensi Storm, of course, and we can try to reach our Shadow Ball, which is going to be able to now connect against the opponent. Let's find out. It is going to get the shield, actually, which I was quite surprised about. I don't know really why they want to use a shield on this one, because at the end of the day it was a double debuffed Shadow Ball, and I think it would have been better for them to do it like this. Like this, we can just go ahead and go for the full farm down here, as we will see the Landorus coming back in, taking the raw of time, and we can knock them out. Next opponent coming through. We're going to have a Dialga Mirror matchup here, but they're going to be best buddied, and they're going to have the old form, and we're going to have some nice lag here, as you can see as well. Honestly, like, the game is at very bad state right now, but we can go for the Iron Head, and that Iron Head is going to be able to force that shield from the opponent at this point. I'm just happy about the scenario here. I'm just going to do whatever they want to do here. If it's an Iron Head, I can still get to my next Iron Head in time as well. Force maybe even another shield. If not, we are going to be able to yeah, at this point, of course, it was an Iron, but otherwise, we would have been able to just farm them down with the Incinerate. Here, they have to still go for another charge, which is quite hilarious, otherwise, we would have farmed them down as well. I don't know if the lag there again kind of mattered, but we can at least get a 1 free Incinerate, which you can now apply against the opponent's Kyogre. I have to say, with this team, I encountered quite a lot of double water backlines. I'm not too sure if they're all in the video here as well. Did quite a few battles with this team. But yeah, again here, double water with Palkia and Kyogre, and this is like basically a backline that's unbeatable. Cool, we have the same lead. Cool, we would have been able to win the lead matchup there in general, but what am I supposed to do now with like a fire-type Pokemon and a Pokemon that's weak to Dragon Breath? Like, it is kind of ridiculous here, I would say. As our Gotail is coming through here, our only hope is to try to go and put them into farmland range for our Ho-Oh, which we are going to be able to do, but they have a ton of energy, and they have still a Kyogre lurking there in the back, and the Kyogre has a ton of energy, and we're in a spot where I don't think I have any choice of winning this battle, or like any way of winning this battle, as the Gotail that is coming through here right now is going to be a little bit too strong, and again, if I had Dragon Pulse, I most likely had a decent chance of winning this battle. So, if you want to run this team, please run Dragon Pulse over the Omnious Wind. I barely used Omnious Wind, and Dragon Pulse would have had so much play in so many scenarios while I was playing this. I'm kind of pissed off at myself here, to be fair, because I was not brave enough, I guess, to go for my own head and try to adjust the team a little bit. But of course, this is a video to try to showcase the top team from PvPoke. Also, it's a showcase to show even more lag here on the Go Battle League. Actually, I have to say, recently I got a little bit more excited for playing Pokemon Go in general. Not like directly Go Battle League, by the way, but like more Pokemon Go, which also kind of includes Go Battle League. So, yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to the next changes, like the next season in general. So, hopefully those are going to be great. We don't know yet, but I am very hopeful. Like, I'm very hopeful, and I'm very looking forward towards the next season of the game. As of course, right now, it is a little bit of a lamer one, because we have like 9 seasons of nearly the same meta, but I'm fairly certain next season going to change quite a bit. For example, one change here, at least for this season, was that Necrozma got released, and we're going to be able to at least go into our Giratina and look at the damage output. Like, if you would have one shield here, you can just go for the full farm down against this Necrozma type. I know the other Necrozma is way more common for good reasons, which is basically just because of the typing. But here we're going to be in such a great spot. We can go ahead, go for that Sacred Fire, gonna be able to get them low, and we know already from the Zacian it is not running Wild Charge, and so the Brave Bird here is going to be enough to knock them out for sure, winning us this battle, and we can move on to the final opponent. Let's find out what they're going to run. It is going to be an Yveltal in the lead. What an interesting Pokemon. I made a video about it recently as well to try to counter those Necrozmas, but before Necrozma was really common, so it didn't really work out as like I hoped for, at least. I think nowadays, if I would have tried to go ahead and take a look at another Yveltal video, basically, I would have had a little bit more success, because currently like Necrozma is everywhere, because it's like such a good Pokemon as well, like both of them. But anyway, we're going to see here, one of the cool things about Giratina is that the matchup against something like a Landorus is quite nice, because you have quite a decent amount of bulk on the Giratina while still doing some nice stab damage with Shadow Claw, so like that's kind of cool. They're still going to be able to win this matchup if they really want to, I think, because the Shadow Ball should not do enough damage here anymore after 2 debuffs, exactly. I could use a shield here now, but like, what's the point really? Like, what's the point to keep a Pokemon that has a -3 attack? Then like, there's no real reason for it. So I'd rather get some energy with my Ho-Oh, hope for not a Kyogre in their back, Why is there a Kyogre again? I'm not too sure, but Brave Bird is still going to chunk quite a bit here onto the opponent. Going to be able to swap out now. The Zygarde is coming in against the Yveltal. I have to hope that they don't have Focus Blast. Of course, I don't know if they have the Oblivion Ring or not. And so we are deciding to use a shield here. Double Iron Head should be the way to go. Let's see if this is going to work out for us. First Iron Head coming through, gonna get the shield. And now I am going to not go for a double Iron Head. I think I'm just going to go for the full farm down here. I think that's going to be the way to go, as now I should try to even reach out for that raw of time against the Kyogre. Say goodbye to it, and that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like. It is free, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.